What's going on, Port fans? Welcome back to another video on the channel, and today we're going to be talking about Port Adelaide's defensive stocks. Now, we've seen over the last couple of weeks there's been a couple of big injuries for Port's defensive unit, with Brandon zerk-thatcher hurting a disc in his back, and also Asava Radaglia only the other day at training hurting his meniscus in his knee. So a couple of medium-term injuries for Port Adelaide with their defensive stocks. We know now Asava Radaglia has been playing predominantly as a forward, but with zerk-thatcher going out first with an injury to miss the start of the year, we definitely thought that Asava would go back, and now with Asava going down and becoming injured with the meniscus, that's also a medium-term injury, which could be 4, 8, 12 weeks depending if it needs surgery or not. So it's a lot of communication at the moment whether or not Port Adelaide will be playing quite a small back line or quite a tall back line. I'm here to sort of point out some key personnel that may be able to fill that void for the short term. And whilst injuries suck, and we've been talking about wanting a key defender and still wanting something in that realm, we didn't really pick one up in the draft, and I thought we might have. But now with two key backs going down, Port are in a bit of dire straits at the moment with key backs, and I'm not happy because it's not even the start of the season. We're not even playing pre-season games yet, and this has been at training. So clubs need to start looking at their lawns being watered a bit more, because honestly, there's been too many injuries this pre-season, and I've had enough. Now, the big question is who replaces these two. We obviously know that we have a pretty decent defensive unit with Adelaide'S as the key focal point. Now, it does hurt massively with our defensive stocks that if those two, zerk-thatcher and Asava Radaglia, are not playing, then Adelaide'S role becomes massively different. He has to play one-on-one, there's no intercept marking, and there's no key backman to really fill that void. And by going by what our defensive six would look like with Josh Sin and Kane Farrell, Lockie Jones, Logan Evans and Miles Bergman, you do have to question who goes and plays a tall role. And we've got Ryan Burton at the realm as well that can play in a key position role. We know that if Lockie Jones has to play bigger, he's played on the likes of Darcy Fogarty as well, so he's not too shy of playing a big role, and so is Miles Bergman. He's played on players like Cameron, and he's playing on a couple of other medium to high forwards that have really done the job, and he's done a magnificent role as well. So they can definitely play taller. You've got options with Jack Lukosius, who can play as a defender. You've got Jeremy Finlayson, who's not shy of playing in a different role and can play as a defender. You've got the untried Xavier Walsh, who has the potential to step up and play. He's played down back before in the Sandful. So these players have an opportunity to have an audition, basically, at playing at a bigger role. And the way I look at it is, we've got opening round in just over 3 weeks' time. We've got pre-season games against the Crows, and we've got the St Kilda Saints, and then obviously as well we've got the internal trial the week of opening round, when obviously the other teams play up in Sydney and Brisbane. I look at our first 3 weeks of the fixture, and it's Collingwood, Richmond, and the Bombers. Now, Collingwood don't possess a highly tall forward line. They've got Dan McStay, Brody Myercheck, who plays as a 192 centimetre big guy, and you also have Tim Membry, who can fill a void there as well. And I think you look at those sizes and you're like, right, well, Lear plays on Dan McStay, and you can have a Lockie Jones on Myercheck, you can have a Miles Bergman there, you can have Ryan Burton, so you can sort of get away with that at playing a smaller role in a smaller defence. Same goes for the Tigers. They'll have Tom Lynch, and then you have a Mosquito fleet, and you obviously have a key forwards who are young and have a great opportunity to audition from the draft as well. So I'm not sure who will line up for them, because they've got about 16 different youngsters and about 8 different tall forwards as well. So it'll be interesting to see how Richmond line up. But then again, you go to the Bombers. They lost Jake Stringer. They obviously have Peter Wright down there, and they do have Caddy as well, and they have Kyle Langford, who's a medium forward as well. So it's not big tools that are going to grasp our interest in the first 3 games. I'm not saying that's a positive in a sense. I hate to have injuries, but I think if you're going to pick 3 teams that sort of you can work your way into the match with with a smaller defence. Those three are pretty much near the top of the list on teams you'd like to choose. I'm not suggesting no, doesn't matter. They've got one tall forward, we're going to run right over them. No, I'm generally worried about our backline, and I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm trying to find a resolution for us to be a bit more dynamic with our defensive line. I came up with this, and this was my back six, and I'll tell you the rotations as well. So it's Evans, Aaliyah, Farrell, Sin, Bergman, Jones. That's your back six without Zerk-thatcher and Asava Radaglia, and without bringing in Xavier Walsh or putting in Lukosius and Finlayson. That's the one I think you can run with. You've got the rotation of Jace Bergwijn who can go in there, and obviously Ryan Burton. I've seen Trav Boak start at halfback as well a couple of times during pre-season too. So there's options, and I think our smaller players, we've seen Dan Houston in the past be an intercept defender and take intercept marks before. So I think you can have a Ryan Burton, Josh Sin, or Jace Bergwijn did it perfectly against the Hawks in the final series, in that semi-final. So am I concerned is the big question. Are you concerned, Port fans? This is the question I ask, and yeah, I am a little bit concerned, because if you're already going to have Jack Lukosius or Jeremy Finlayson fill in as a defender, or have Ollie Lord, and you have everything be a bit more dynamic and your plans are thrown out the window by round one, it does become concerning. You become unbalanced. We become a little bit more unpredictable, which is the positive side of things, but also you're unpredictable to yourself. When you're unpredictable to yourself, that's a concern. That's when you don't know what's going to happen and you're just hoping this works. So the defensive stocks at the moment, I think, are very questionable, but I think it can work. So I trust what our defensive unit can do. Do we try the untried Xavier Walsh? Look, if you're going to go and trial it out, you may as well do it in the first bit of the year and see how you go. I think what will be the keen eye now, and the thing I'll be looking forward to most during these pre-season games against the Crows and against St Kilda, is this defensive unit. Now, I love looking at the fact that we played the Crows first up, Riley Thilthorpe, Tex Walker, Darcy Fogarty. Three bigs, three key forwards coming up against our little tiny defence. What a great test to see exactly what they try and what exactly Port Adelaide look for going into round one. It's going to be a lot of eyes on Port Adelaide's defence and a lot of eyes on Port Adelaide. I look forward to that first game in Mount Barker come next Friday. Let me know in the comments, Port fans, your thoughts about this situation with Port Adelaide's defensive stocks and what our structure will look like for round one. I can't wait to see what you guys think. It's going to be a very interesting focus going ahead into this 2025 season. Combine that with the countless rumours about Josh Carr and Ken Hinkley. Combine that as well with pre-season games coming up. It's all building up. It's all going to be massive, and it's all going to be wild. I look forward to it. I can't wait to see how it all pans out. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new for plenty more Port Adelaide and AFL content to come your way. Thank you so much for watching. My name's Anthony, and as always, can't pair.